everyone! So it's been a little while since I last posted a video, I think probably at least a month or two, and I apologise for that. I didn't mean to just leave you guys hanging without letting you know where I was going. But we have moved house recently, which is why I was away. For some reason I had this weird idea in my head that I would be able to just keep posting stuff throughout the move, which is ridiculous because there's no way I could have done that. I think that was kind of my own cockiness that caused this slight issue, so I apologise. So anyway, we're in a new place again. This house is a lot more permanent than all the previous places that we've lived in, which is nice. So I don't think I'll be moving again for quite a while, unless like I'm moving out or something. So that's cool. That means more stability for you guys as well, hopefully, like less breaks from moving and stuff, because I don't know how many times I've moved since getting YouTube, but it's definitely a few times. So anyway, this is my bedroom that we are currently sitting in together. This is going to be probably the new background for a while until I get the studio sorted, but it's really cool in here. I got to paint the walls and stuff so they're a kind of nice lavender colour, which I'm sure you'll see in another video. I think it's kind of like an old granny colour, to be honest, but I think it kind of adds to the fairy feel, which is nice. But in terms of the studio, that needs a lot of work before we can do anything in there. So it needs like the walls repainted, the ceiling fixed, the floor fixed as well, because it's just concrete at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to be filming in here for at least a few months until the studio is all sorted out. So I hope that's cool with you guys. I'm sure I'm going to be getting a few questions about a new bedroom tour since we've moved and now I have a new bedroom, and I don't think I'll be doing a room tour for at least a few months to a year. I like to make sure that I get everything just completely unpacked and set up exactly how I like it before doing room tours, because then there have been times that I haven't done that and then I look back on the video and I think, gosh, that looks really bare, I need to make a new room tour now. So yeah, I'm just gonna get everything set up exactly how I like it, however long that takes, and then there will be a new room tour. Speaking of room tours, I did at the old house film a tour of my old art studio that I had there, and I will be uploading it probably next week, I'm thinking, because I've nearly finished editing it. It just needs a few more touch-ups and stuff, but I hope that's okay with you guys because I know it's the old studio and I don't have it anymore. Hair in my mouth. I loved that studio. That was my most favourite studio that I've ever had, because I think I've had 3 or 4 in my life and that's always been my favourite one. So yeah, I'd still like to put that up to remember it and everything. I think I should kind of just let you guys know what's happening with other videos that I'm planning to be doing. I guess there's a couple that I do want to make that kind of in a way relate to having moved house again. I'm thinking I want to do some kind of oddities setup video or something, if that's something you guys would be interested in, as I unpack my oddities onto their shelves, kind of filming bits and pieces of that, just playing around with dead stuff. I think that would be fun. I don't know, let me know what you think about that. It's still kind of a vague idea that's still forming in my head of how I'm going to do that, but I think it would be fun to experiment with. And then kind of along that theme, I do want to make more kind of paganism related stuff, because I know that was definitely a big topic that people subscribed for on my old channel. So I'm going to do some kind of video related to my altar. I think probably kind of how I set it up, because I do get a lot of questions about that and sometimes a few misunderstandings as well that I'd like to clear up in the process. I think that would be a fun one to make, kind of different from the general altar tour and more of this is how I set up the altar, and you can watch me as I go along and explain it all. I also want to work on some requested stuff as well. Like I know that someone asked if I could do a jewellery collection video, which I really want to do. I just need to sort out my jewellery because at the moment it's just this giant tangled clump and there's only like 3 necklaces that I can wear at the moment because they're not all tangled up and impossible to get. So I'm still just figuring out what the best way is to film and edit that one, because I have so much jewellery and I need to kind of make sure that the video isn't super long. It might have to be like multiple videos maybe, because I've got a lot of jewellery. Other requested videos, I know that some people have been wanting to see more nature vlogs, and I can tell you that that is definitely happening very, very soon. Now that it's winter here in Australia, I can do a lot more outdoor vlogging and stuff, because when it isn't winter it is so hot and I just absolutely hate it. I hardly ever go outside at all in summer and spring because it's just the weather, it kills me. I hate it. So yeah, now that it's winter, I have a few naturey spots in mind that I want to take you guys to and just have some fun in and hang out in and stuff. I think that'll probably be the next video that I film, so yeah, you should be seeing that kind of soon. I've recently come to the conclusion that I really just need to do more of the stuff that makes me happy and that I enjoy, and a really big part of that is just being out in nature, in the forest, in the woods, and the creek. Those are kind of some of my plans for future videos, and hopefully they all work out. I usually like keeping video topics a bit of a surprise, but I'm starting to realise that I think maybe I should occasionally share more future ideas more often, because then it's a bit more accountability and then I have to make it because I told you guys I was going to and I can't disappoint you, so hopefully that works. So I guess the last thing I kind of felt was worth mentioning, because it's been a significant thing that has happened lately that's kind of related to moving. I know some of you guys remember her, my old cat, Rao Rao. She died a couple years ago now. I don't remember how many. Still feels like she kind of just died yesterday, to be honest. But I've talked about this a little bit in the video that I made about her dying, and it was that I have always planned that I would keep her bones. If you don't know already, if you're new to my channel, I am a bone collector amongst other things. It's done out of respect for the animal and because I think they deserve to be remembered and continue to be appreciated and loved even if they're dead. I just think it's almost biased not to. Back to Rao Rao. She had been buried in the ground at not my old house, but the one before that, in like a bucket thing with some dirt and stuff, and she was in like a little winding sheet kind of. It was a few months ago and it was right before we moved to this house. I decided that I should check up on her and see how her progress was going. I'm gonna make another video about this that goes a lot more in detail with a few videos and stuff that I took when I did this. But I know that some people watching this now knew Rao Rao personally and everything, and I don't want to go too in depth with this because I don't want to freak people out that actually knew her or make them feel uncomfortable. But yeah, I guess trigger warning if you did know her and you don't want to know any of this stuff about me collecting her remains to keep with me. This is probably going to take up the rest of the video, so stop watching now if you don't want to hear about it. I don't even know how to start. This is the one part of the video that isn't scripted but that I did want to talk about. So when I did check up on her, I did notice that her skull was ready to be degreased, but the rest of her needed, I don't know, like another 6 months or so in the soil. So I'm currently just cleaning up her skull, and I feel so fiercely protective of her. More protective than I've ever been of any other oddity in my collection, I guess. When I first saw her again, it was like this feeling of completion and also like being reunited. Like when I looked at her skull, it was really just like looking at her, like her face. Like, I don't know, I guess because it's the same shape and structure and everything, it was really just like looking at her again. And I did cry a bit. It was quite emotional, but I don't regret it. I'm glad that I'm doing this. It's really special. I want to keep her bones, her remains close to me, and I want them to be with me for the rest of my life, and then when I die I want them to be buried with me. When I decided that I was going to check up on her but I hadn't yet, and I was in the process of getting the bucket with her in it and starting to sift through the soil, I did keep having these thoughts like, is this still the right thing to do? Should I still be doing this? Am I sure that I want this? And I kept telling myself that I could stop looking at any time and just leave it. And that's true. But I did keep going, and I'm glad that I did. One of the really emotional parts that I wasn't expecting at all when I found her again was when we had her put down at the vets. You know how if you've had a pet put down, you probably know what I'm talking about. I don't know what the proper term for this is. A needle that's attached to a tube that goes into their arm or their wrist or something, and that's what is it, the anaesthetic that goes in, the overdose of anaesthetic. This bright green fluid makes them fall asleep. Don't wake up again, that stuff. Yeah, that was still in the soil because it was still in her arm when we took her home when she died. So that was really odd finding that again because I completely forgot about it and I wasn't expecting to find it. I think that made me as emotional as finding her remains in general. So that was an interesting experience, and I still miss her, and things are still not the same without her here. Like, she was my best friend. And Blackstar, he's wonderful. He's my best friend too. I love him. I don't know where I'd be without him, but it is still strange not having her here. So getting to see her again in some way, even though it was a different way than what I usually would have, it was still special. And it was odd because on one hand it was like I was just looking at her like I always would, but then on the other hand it was also kind of like a slight disconnect as well, because she did look very different to how I would usually see her. It's an odd experience, and I've never had that before. I've never kept a pet's remains before. I've always wanted to, even when I was a kid, and my cat before Rao died, and he was buried in the backyard, and then we moved house and we left him there, and I always felt like that was such an injustice, even though it'd be unrealistic to just, you know, dig him up again, especially at that age and everything, and not everyone wants to deal with their pets' remains. Like, the adults around me would not have wanted to do it, which is completely understandable. Like, he definitely takes a certain type of person or personality to want to do it, I think. It always bothered me that we left him there at that house, and like I never got to visit his little grave again, and it just really felt like we were leaving him behind. So I don't want to do that again, because it just doesn't feel right to me personally. I don't really know where I was going with that, but I just wanted to talk about it because it is something that is kind of related to me moving. It happened recently, and I will be posting another video about it at some point when the whole process is done. Yeah, but I don't know, I guess I just wanted to update you guys on that, and I didn't want it to be its own video yet. So that was kind of the big jumbly rambly update video. I've missed you guys a lot, and I appreciate you sticking around and waiting patiently for my return, and also for the people that have come along and subscribed and everything while I was gone for that little break. And also, I am sorry about not answering any comments during that time. I'm still going to answer comments even if they were from a couple months ago, because I always feel bad leaving people hanging like that. I think that's it. I don't really have like a proper way of wrapping this up today. It's good to be back, and I will see you again next week for the studio tour. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.